In the early Victorian era, a difficult childbirth was a terrifying, deeply dangerous event. If labor stalled for days or severe hemorrhaging began, doctors simply did not understand the underlying mechanism of why the process had stopped. They relied on aggressive, often dangerous empirical tricks, administering heavy doses of opiates, bleeding the mother, or rushing in with crude forceps. Dr. William Tyler Smith arrived in London with almost every possible disadvantage. He was penniless and battled chronic poor health throughout his life. As a young teacher, he was known for an awkward, ungainly manner that made his lectures difficult for students to follow. Yet beneath that frail exterior was an incredibly sharp intellect and a fierce ambition to reform the entire medical field. Dr. Tyler Smith recognized that to save lives, doctors had to move past reacting to surface symptoms. He believed the only way to modernize medicine was to decode the hidden, underlying biological systems governing the human body. His first scientific target was the delivery room. In the mid-19th century, childbirth was defined by a limited understanding, often categorized as a mechanical expulsion or a chaotic biological mystery. Dr. Tyler Smith proved it was a sophisticated neurological event. Applying the theory of the reflex arc to human reproduction, he mapped how exciter nerves in the cervix send signals to the spinal cord, routing commands back to the uterus to trigger contractions. He applied this systemic thinking to blood disorders, identifying that albuminuria, protein in the urine, paralyzed that exact reflex arc, leading directly to deadly postpartum hemorrhages. His deep anatomical knowledge also pushed him to tackle ovariotomy, the surgical removal of ovarian tumors. In the Victorian period, this procedure was so perilous it carried a mortality rate of over 50%, earning surgeons the label of belly rippers. By mapping these hidden networks, Dr. Tyler Smith proved that women's health required the same rigorous scientific scrutiny as any other branch of medicine, replacing empirical guesswork with evidence-based practice. A scientific breakthrough has no clinical value if the medical profession itself remains overrun by charlatans. Taking a position as a sub-editor for the journal The Lancet, he used his writing as a tool for reform. He launched a fierce journalistic war against medical quacks, secret recipes, and unregulated patent medicines. He then moved from journalism to institutional reform. In 1858, he became the primary architect and founding member of the Obstetrical Society of London, creating a formal community for the study of midwifery. Serving as its second president, he published a Manual of Obstetrics and established a centralized scientific repository. This replaced isolated clinical guesswork with standardized, peer-reviewed education for a new generation of practitioners. Through this institutional leadership, he successfully elevated midwifery from a marginalized manual craft into a respected specialist physician track. This drive to connect isolated systems eventually spilled over the boundaries of medicine entirely. It took him to Seaford, a coastal village that remained disconnected from the modern Victorian world. Dr. Tyler Smith envisioned transforming this quiet fishing cluster into a modern seaside sanitarium. He acted as a dynamic civic leader, orchestrating public meetings and convincing the engineers of the London, Brighton, and South Coast Railway to physically extend their lines into the town. To make this a reality, he helped raise the £24,000 required for the rail extension. He personally financed and constructed the Terminus Hotel and built a seawall to protect the area from flooding. He oversaw this modernization with total dedication, serving as the town's bailiff, effectively its mayor, 5 separate times. Dr. Tyler Smith diagnosed Seaford's isolation as a logistical problem with a structural solution. By integrating the town into the national rail network and securing its foundation, he transformed a disconnected village into a functioning part of the modern Victorian world. This ability to identify vital connections where his peers saw only chaos made Dr. Tyler Smith a rare Victorian systems builder. The rigor of his methods even extended into the High Court. During the Smethurst trial, his expert forensic testimony brought clinical truth to a chaotic legal battle, successfully saving a man from the gallows. The professional standards he lived by continue to function as the active framework for modern healthcare. Every qualified midwife and specialized obstetrician practicing today operates within the professional identity he helped build. Whether it is a safe delivery overseen by a scientifically trained physician, or a traveler stepping off a train to enjoy the Seaford coast, we are still experiencing the connected world engineered by the drive of Dr. William